We ask for cleansing. We ask for purification. We ask, oh God Jehovah, that you empty us, O King of glory, that you, your spirit will fill us, O God, in the name of Jesus. Father, anything that is not of thee in our hearts, Father, we evacuate it, that your spirit, O God, will fill us afresh. Fill us, O God Jehovah, to receive, O God Jehovah, all that you have for us, O God, today, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we are ready, O God. We are ready, mighty God. We are ready. We are ready. Our heart is made up, O King of glory. Father, we lift our eyes, O God, unto the hill. Where comes our help? Our help comes from you. You that made heaven and earth. Our help doesn't come from any other being. Our help doesn't come from any government, but it comes from you, because you are the ruler of the universe. You are the one that has the power to rule, to destroy, to do all manner of things. Father, you have the power. The whole world is in your hand. Father, come and take charge in the name of Jesus. Holy Spirit, oh God, we invite you. Come and take control, Lord. Father, the Spirit of the living God, we are nothing beside you. We are nothing without you. Come and fill us, oh God. Come and fill us with your power. Come and fill us, oh God Jehovah, with your might, oh God, King of glory. That, Lord, as we worship you, oh God, King of glory, we worship you in truth and in spirit, in the mighty name of Jesus. The psalmist say, I am glad when they say, let us come to the house of the Lord. Father, we have come, O God, today. We ask, O Lord Jesus, that you come afresh, O God Jehovah. Speak to our souls in the name of Jesus. As many that are down in the spirit, O God, as many, O God, that are weak, O King of glory, we ask for the peace of God that passes all understanding to fill us, O God, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, let your peace rule. Let your peace reign. Let your peace, O God, come and, O God, envelop us today, even as we, O God Jehovah, stand in your presence this morning, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, this week, O Lord Jehovah, we ensure it into your hand, because whatever that is committed in your hand is safe and secured. Lord, we ask, O King of glory, come and have your way. Come and see us through, Lord, as we navigate, O God Jehovah, in this week, O God. We don't know what is ahead of us, but Lord, with you, O God, all things are possible. With you, O God Jehovah, we can do all things, O God Jehovah, because you are the God that strengthens us, O God. Jehovah, come and have your way. Holy Spirit, we invite you. Come and take charge, O God, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, Lord, we commit all our activities, oh God, today, oh God, and tomorrow, and next tomorrow, and this week, oh God. Father, we, oh God, Jehovah, we channel everything, oh God, before you, and we ask, oh God, Father, come and have your way. We trust you because, oh King of glory, you have the ability, oh God, Jehovah, to do all things. You have the power, oh God, Jehovah, to do all things, oh God. Jesus, we rely on you. We don't rely on our money. We don't rely on anybody, oh God, but we rely on you. We put our trust in you because you are God that never changes. You are God that never fails. You are God that never puts your people to shame. Father, Lord, we trust in you. We trust in the everlasting arm of our Lord. We are in the whole of your hand. Come and have your way in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Father in heaven, oh God, we pray for, oh God, the peace of Jerusalem. We pray for peace, oh God, Jehovah, in USA. We pray for the peace, oh God, in Africa. We pray for the peace, oh God, Jehovah, in Middle East, oh God. Father, King of glory, we ask, oh God, there are wars, oh God. There are wars going on, oh God, in the world. There are wars, oh God, going on everywhere. Rumors of war. The actual war is going on now, right now. Father, Lord, we ask, enough of the shedding of blood. Jehovah, intervene, 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 intervene in the name of Jesus. Intervene, oh God. We need your power. You need your power. Let there be, oh God, enough of the bloodshed in the name of Jesus. Father, Lord in heaven, I pray, Holy Spirit, go out, oh God, Jehovah, and do that which no man can do in the name of Jesus. Speak peace, oh God, in the hearts, oh God, of the world leaders, oh God, that they will come to the round table, oh God, where peace, oh God, is available, oh God, where the peace of God is available, and everything, oh God, will come to normalcy in the name of Jesus. What peace cannot give, nothing will give us. Where there is no peace, there is trouble. Father, we don't need trouble. We don't need trouble. We want your peace. Let your peace reign. Let your peace reign. In our communities, Father, let your peace reign. In our country, Father, let your peace reign. In our hearts, let your peace reign. In the name of Jesus. Every troubled soul today, let the peace of God reign in all our hearts in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, King of glory, the Bible said, I so wish that we prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospered. Father, today, oh God, I pray for the, oh God, healing of our souls. We pray for the healing of our minds. We pray for, oh God, emotional healing, oh God. Father, where there is any sickness, oh God, in our body, Father, we pray, let the blood of Jesus that cleanseth all from all sin, clean off from every sin, from every guilt, from every sickness in the name of Jesus. We are whole, we are made whole in the name of Jesus. And if the Son of God has set you free, you are free indeed. Father, we thank you because freedom is sure in our life today and always in the mighty name of Jesus. Blessed be your name, Lord. Blessed be your name. Thank you, Father, for the men of God that you are using, oh God, in this end time. Thank you for the apostle, oh God. Thank you, Jehovah, for the wife, amiable wife, oh God, that you are using, oh God, Jehovah, to back him up. Jehovah, we ask, oh God, more unction to function in the mighty name of Jesus. More unction to function in your vineyard in the name of Jesus. More grace, oh God, more fire, more anointing in the name of Jesus. As they come up, oh God, to minister, oh God, they will minister with grace, they will minister with anointing, we will minister with fire in the name of Jesus. Fire to consume everything that needs to be consumed in the mighty name of Jesus. And at last, oh God, King of glory, we will have every cause to glorify your name in the mighty name of Jesus. We cover this arena with the blood of Jesus. We cover everything about us with the blood of Jesus. We ask, oh God, King of glory, let the blood of Jesus that sanctifies, let it sanctify our soul, our mind, our spirit in the mighty name of Jesus. We cover us with the precious blood of Jesus. Blessed be your name, Lord. Thank you, Ebenezer. Thank you, the King of kings and the Lord of lords. Be thou be exalted, O Lord. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We give you all the glory, Jesus. We welcome you, Holy Spirit. We welcome you, Holy Spirit. We welcome you in our midst this morning. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, I was glad when they said to me, I was glad when they said, let us go into the house of the Lord. Oh, what a joy it is to be here this morning. What a joy it is to be here this morning, to give you the glory for all that you have done, for how you kept us throughout the week, Lord Jesus. be your welcome. Let our songs be your sign, God. We are here for you. Oh, we are here for you. So let your breath come from heaven. Let your breath come from heaven. Come from heaven. Fill our hearts with your life, with your life, God. We are here for you. Oh, we are here for you. We are here for you. Oh, one more time. Oh, let our praise be your welcome. Let our praise be your welcome. Let our song be a sign. Oh God, we are here for you. Oh, we are here for you. We are here for you. Oh, let your breath come from heaven.
Let your breath,
yes, come from heaven.
Come from heaven.
Oh, fill our hearts with your life.
With your life,
oh God, we are here for you. Oh, we are here for you. We are here for you. Oh, to you our hearts are open. To you our hearts are open. Nothing here is hidden. You are our one desire. And you alone are holy. Only you are worthy. God, let your fire come. So you our hearts are open. To you our hearts are open. Nothing here is hidden. You are our one desire. You alone are holy. Only you are worthy. God, let your fire fall down. Let your fire fall down. Let your fire fall down. Let our shout be your anthem, your renown. Fill the skies, God. We are here for you. We are here for you. We are here for you. So let your word move in power. Let your word move in power.
Move in power.
Let what's dead come to life, God. We are here for you. We are here, yeah. We are here for you. And to you our hearts are open. To you our hearts are open. Nothing here is hidden. You are our one desire. You, Lord. welcome you with praise. We welcome you with praise. Almighty God of love, be welcomed in this place. Let every heart adore, let every soul awake. Almighty God of love, be welcome. We welcome you with praise. We welcome you with praise. Almighty God of love, be welcome. Let every heart adore. Let every soul awake. Almighty God of love, be welcome. Let every heart adore him. Let every soul awake. Almighty God of love, be welcome. Let every heart adore. Let every soul awake. Almighty God of love, be welcome. Let every heart, let every soul, Almighty God, yeah. Let every heart adore. Let every soul awake. Almighty God of love, be welcome. Oh, let every heart, let every soul, Almighty God, oh, be welcome. Let every heart, let every soul awake. Almighty God, be welcomed in this place. Oh, we welcome you, Jesus. We welcome you, Jesus. We welcome you, Jesus. We welcome you, Jesus. We welcome you, Abba. We welcome you, Jesus. Oh, we give you all the glory. Oh, you will never fail, Jesus. As old as you are, you will never change. Ancient of days, ancient of days. As old as you are, as old as you are, you will never change. Ancient of days, as old as you are, as old as you are, you will never change. change, and we exclaim, my God is mighty. We lift up your name, for you are holy. Sing it again. Honor and glory in adoration. We bow before your throne. Oh, and we exclaim, our God is mighty.
Our God is mighty.
We lift up your name.
Lift up your name.
For you are holy.
For you are holy.
We're singing again.
Sing it again.
All honor and glory.
Honor and glory.
In adoration, we bow before your throne. Oh, and we exclaim, yeah, we exclaim, our God is mighty.
Our God is
We
mighty.
lift up your
Lift up your
name.
name.
For you are holy,
For you
God.
are
Oh,
holy.
sing it again and
Sing it
again.
again.
All honor, glory,
Honor and glory.
oh, in adoration, we bow down. One more time, sing it out. Yeah, we exclaim that our God is mighty.
Our God is mighty.
And we lift up his name high
Lift up
above
your name.
all other name, for it is holy. Oh, we're singing again and again. All honor and glory. In adoration, we bow down, bow before your throne. We exclaim, our God is mighty. Lift up your name, for you are holy. Sing it again. Honor and glory.
Honor and glory.
In adoration, we bow before your throne. And glorious God, beautiful King, excellent God, I bow before your throne. Glorious God, beautiful King, excellent God, I bow before. Sing glorious God, glorious, beautiful King, beautiful, excellent God, excellent God, I bow before your. Sing glorious God, beautiful King, beautiful, excellent God, excellent God, I bow before you. Sing glorious God, glorious, beautiful King, yeah, beautiful King, excellent God, excellent God, I bow before you. Sing glorious God, glorious, beautiful King, beautiful, excellent God, excellent God, I bow before you. Sing glorious God, glorious, beautiful King, yeah, beautiful, excellent God, excellent God, I bow before your throne, bow before your throne. worship at your feet, bow before your throne. You are the glorious God. Bow before your throne, worship at your feet, bow before your throne. You are the glorious God. Bow before your throne, worship at your feet, bow before your throne. You are the glorious. Bow before your worship at your feet. I bow before you. You're the glorious. Bow before. Worship at your feet. Worship at your feet. I bow before you. You're the glorious God. I bow before you and worship at your feet. I bow before your throne. You are the glorious God. Oh, I bow before. I worship at your feet, God. I bow before your throne, God. You are the glorious God. I bow before you. I worship at your feet. I bow before your throne. You are the glorious God. Oh, bow before him and worship at his feet. Oh, bow before his throne. He is the glorious God. And bow before him and worship at his feet. I bow before your throne. You are the glorious. You're the glorious God. Bow before your throne. Worship at your feet. Bow before your throne. You are glorious God. Release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come. Shekinah glory come. Release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory, Shekinah glory, Shekinah. Release the fullness, release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come, Shekinah glory come. Release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come, Shekinah. Release the fullness, release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come, Shekinah. Release the fullness, release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory, Shekinah glory come. Release the fullness of your spirit, of your spirit. Shekinah glory come. Shekinah, one more time. Release the fullness, release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come, Shekinah glory come. 'Cause you move more. You speak, and we want more. You move, we want more. We want the full. One more time, saying you move, and we want it. You move, and we want more. You speak, and we want more. You move, and we want more. We want the fullness. Release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come. Shekinah glory come. Release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory, Shekinah glory come. Release the fullness of your spirit, yeah. Shekinah glory come. Shekinah glory come. Ooh, we want more. You speak, we want more. You move, we want more. We want the fullness. And you move, we want more. You speak, and we want more. You move, and we want more. We want the fullness. So release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come. Shekinah glory come. Release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come. Shekinah glory. Release the fullness. Release the fullness of your spirit. Shekinah glory come. Shekinah glory come. Fullness. Giving us joy. The Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy. The Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy. The Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy. The Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy. The Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy. The Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy. The Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy. Said the Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy. The Lord has given us freedom. Giving us freedom. Giving us joy.
And I can't get enough of your presence.
I can't get enough of your presence. I can't get enough of your presence. I can't get enough. Oh, say I can't get enough of your presence. I can't get enough of your presence. I can't get enough of your presence. Say I can't get enough. I can't get enough of your presence. I can't get enough of your presence. I can't get enough of your presence. I can't get enough. One more time, sing it out. I I can't get enough of your presence. Presence, I can't get enough of your presence. Oh, I can't get enough of your presence. Presence, I can't get enough. Can't get enough. The Lord has given us freedom, given us freedom, given us joy. The Lord has given us freedom, given us freedom, given us joy. The Lord has given us freedom, given us freedom, given us joy. The Lord has given us freedom, given us freedom, given us joy. The Lord has given us, the Lord has given us freedom, given us freedom, given us joy. The Lord has given us freedom, given us freedom, given us. The Lord has given us, the Lord has given us freedom, given us joy, given us joy. The Lord has given us freedom, yeah, given us freedom, given us joy. 'Cause I am free to run. I am free to run. I am free to dance. I am free to dance. I am free to live for you. I am free to live for you. I am free. I am free. Yes, I am free. I am free. Say, I am free to dance. I am free to dance. I am free to run. I am free to run. I am free to live for you. I am free to live for you. Yes, I am free. I am free. I am free. I am free. I'm free to live for you, Jesus. I am free to dance. I am free to dance. I am free to sing. I am free to jump. I am free to live for you. 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 I am free. Yes, I am free. 'Cause when the Spirit of the Lord is upon my life, I will dance like David danced. When the Spirit of the Lord is upon my life, I will dance like David danced. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like David danced. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like David danced. When the Spirit of the Lord is upon my life, I will dance like David danced. When the Spirit of the Lord comes upon my soul, I will dance like David. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like David danced. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like David danced. When the Spirit of the Lord is upon my soul, I will dance like David danced. When the Spirit of the Lord comes upon my life, I will dance like David. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like David danced. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like David danced. Spirit of the Lord came upon myself, I will sing like David sang. And the Spirit of the Lord is upon my life, I will sing like David. Yeah, I will sing, I will sing, I will sing, I will sing like David sang. I will sing, I will sing, I will sing like David did. The Spirit of the Lord is upon my life, I will dance like David did. When the Spirit of the Lord is upon my life, I will dance like David. Say, I will dance, I will dance, I will dance, I will dance like David dance. I will dance, I will dance, I will dance like David dance. We go dance, hail your name, day by day, all the way, all the way. We go to hail your name, day by day, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. We go to hail your name, day by day, all the way, all the way. We go to hail your name, day by day, all the way, all the way. We go there, hail your name, day by day, all the way, all the way. And this kind God, oh, I never see your type, oh. This kind God, oh, blessed be your holy name. Say this kind God, oh, I never see your type before. I never see your type before. Blessed be your holy name. Yes, say this kind God, oh, this kind God. I never see your kind, oh, I never see your kind before. Blessed be your holy name. Yeah, this kind God, oh, I never see your kind, oh, I never see your kind before in my life. Oh, blessed be your holy name. Yeah, this kind God, oh, I never see your time. I never see your kind in my life before. Oh, blessed be your holy name. Blessed be your holy name. This kind God, oh, I never see your type, oh. This kind God, oh, blessed be your holy name. This kind God, oh, I never see your kind, oh. This kind God, oh, blessed be your holy name.
Imela, Imela, Jehovah,
Imela, oh,
Imela,
Just lift your hands and thank God for his faithfulness. Just lift your hands this morning and thank God for his faithfulness. Just lift your hands and say, God, we thank you for you are good to us. Just lift your hands and say, God, we love you, we appreciate you. Despite what is going on, you are still a God that we can trust. You are a God we can trust. You are too faithful to disappoint me. You are too faithful to fail me. You have proven yourself in my life, and I've come to realize that you are too faithful to fail me. Today and forevermore, what you have said is what you do. You've never failed. You've never changed. You are too faithful to the end. Faithful God, I worship you. I worship you. You are too faithful to fail me. You are too faithful to disappoint me. You have proven yourself in my life, and I've come to realize that you are too faithful to fail me. You are too faithful. You are who you are, God. You are who you are yesterday, today, and forevermore. What you said you will do, that is what you do. Lord, you have never failed. You will never fail. You have never changed. God, you have not changed. You are too faithful to fail me. You are too faithful to disappoint me. You are too faithful to disappoint me, Lord. You cannot disappoint me at this time, Lord. You have proven yourself in my life. I have come to realize it, Lord, that you are too faithful to fail me. You are too faithful to disappoint me, oh Lord. You are too faithful to disappoint me. You are too loving for me. You too much love me, Lord. You have too much love me. You have too much love me. What you have started in my life, you will finish. I have come to realize that you are too faithful to love me. You are too loving. You are too loving, Lord. You are too loving. You are too loving to disappoint me, Lord. You are too loving to disappoint me, Lord. You have taken me so far, Lord, to leave me halfway. All you have started, you will finish in my life. Oh, hallelujah. You are too faithful to fail me. Hallelujah.
Oh, you are too faithful to disappoint me.
Hallelujah.
You've proven yourself in my life, and I've come to realize you're too faithful to fail me.
Say you're too faithful to fail me.
You're too faithful to fail me.
Oh, you're too faithful to disappoint me.
You're too faithful to disappoint me.
Oh, you've proven yourself.
You've proven yourself
in my life, and I've come to realize you're too faithful to fail me.
Say you're too loving to leave me, God.
You're
too loving to leave me.
You're too loving
Say
to
you're
leave me,
too
Jesus.
loving to leave me halfway.
You're too loving to disappoint me.
What you start, you always finish it. What you start, you always finish.
And I've come to realize you're too loving to leave.
Therefore, know you, Lord, that I am your God. He is God, the faithful God, who keeps covenant and mercy for 1,000 generations with those who love him and keep his commandments. Here we learn of his faithfulness as a determination and stubborn like selfless towards blessing his people for his obedience. God is faithful and he loves to bless his obedient people.
So you're too loving to leave me halfway.
You're too loving
to leave me halfway. What you start, you always finish. What you start, you always finish. But I've come to realize that you're too loving to leave. Oh, so you're too faithful to fail me. You're too faithful to fail me. So you're too faithful to disappoint me. You're too faithful to disappoint me.
Your mercy, O Lord, is in the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the cloud. David said about describing God's perfection, but it could have been an incomplete word that had not told his faithfulness. God is faithful, and you can't outreach his faithfulness. Your faithfulness endures for all generations. Your faithfulness endures to all generations. It's all about the essence of God's word. Yet even this great truth rests on this fact of this character. God is faithful, and he can't outlive his faithfulness. You are too faithful to fail me.
Oh, you're too faithful to disappoint me.
Oh, you are too faithful to disappoint me.
You are proving yourself in my life.
You are
proving yourself in my life.
And I've come to realize
you're too faithful to fail me.
So you're too faithful to fail me.
Oh, you're too faithful to fail me. The
Oh,
next
you're too faithful to
word we are going to
disappoint
hear is from the man of God,
Too
who
faithful
is going to bring us word of
disappoint.
encouragement this morning.
You have proven
Hallelujah.
yourself in my
Oh, you are too faithful in my life, and I've come to realize you are too faithful to fail us.
Who say you're too faithful to fail me? You're too faithful to fail me. Say you're too faithful to disappoint me. You're too faithful to disappoint me. You're proving yourself in my life. You're proving yourself in my life. And I've come to realize you're too faithful to fail me.
Somebody say amen.
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 Amen. Amen. Go ahead. Hallelujah,
You're
Jesus.
too faithful to disappoint me. Oh Lord, my God, when I am awesome wonder, consider all the worlds thy hands have made, and I see the stars, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power through
Father, we thank you, we bless you, we give you all the glory and adoration, for you are faithful. There is no one like you. Thank you for your presence in this place. We don't just feel it, we know it. That you are here because your word said so. That wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in your name, you are in the midst of them. And so we thank you for your presence. Give me grace to proclaim your word as your oracle. And let the people here and those who are watching virtually be blessed. To the glory of your name, in Jesus' name. Somebody say amen. Amen and amen. 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 Somebody say amen. All righty. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. All right, already. Get your papers, get your pencils, get your pen. Take notes. You're about to hear and be taught at a level that God wants you to be in. Somebody say, I'm not coming down, I'm going up. You know, the Bible says that we should be established in the present truth. Someone say present truth. Amen. Present truth. We need to, because the Bible says in Hosea 4:6, my people, they perish. Help me somebody. For lack of, you shall not perish anymore. Let me see your papers. Let me see your notebooks and your pen. Or if you're going to use your iPad or your ePad or your Android pad, that's fine. But just get some notes, because this is going to help you. This is going to help you. All right, somebody? All right. So we're still in that topic of spiritual development. And a lot of people miss out on things that are very important that God wants to teach us. And so today we're going to see and understand who we are and whose we are. We're going to understand the spiritual personalities. Some Bible scholars call it the Bible psychology, but that's not what I think I should call it. We're calling it spiritual development and formation. And so the more you understand what you're going to hear today, the more you'll be able to put things in their category. Hello, somebody? I mean, if you know that you can't go and pour bleach in your closet, the intention is to ruin it, right? Ruin your clothes, and they're all torn white and, purple and all kinds of colors. And so we're going to put things in there where they belong. Where they belong. So first and foremost, would you say with me, I am a spirit? Say it again, I am a spirit. Turn to your one and say, I am a spirit. Say it again, I am a spirit. All right, so say after me, I have a soul and I dwell in a body. All right, say it again, I am a spirit, I have a soul, and I dwell in a body. Say the whole thing by yourself and declare it. Point to yourself. Say it again. Amen. Do you believe that? All right, let me just take you to the origin, then I'm going to bring you to this present time. The first thing you need to know is that when God created you, He created you in His likeness and His image. And God, we know, is Trinity, 3 in 1, right? God the Father, God the Son, and God the... All right, stay with me. So the three in God came together and said, let us make man. Genesis 1:26. Take note of that. In our own image and likeness. So He created you, first and foremost, and then He blessed you. That's where Genesis 1:26, 27, and 28 went to. But then you have to go to the next chapter. and in chapter 2 and verse number 7. If you have it, put up for me. And the Lord formed man from the dust of the ground. May I say this to you? You are not dust. You are more than dust. What he was making of what he was creating, Trinity, was to form dust, or if you may create a bodily essence we call body, right? And he got it from the dust, made a clay of it, fixed the head, the hands, the torso, the feet, and all the organs of the body. Every physical thing or being that you can see and touch was made out of the dust. Amen. All right, so God made dust, took dust of the ground and formed, somebody say form. I'm not going to go into that. There are 4 or 5 types of making, forming. This is Yatsah, Y-A-T-S-A-H. To form out of something, God formed out of the dust man. And then what did he do next? He breathed the breath of life into the man's nostril, and the man became a what? A living soul, a living person, or a living being, Homo sapien. So in that process, by the way, let me say this to you. I know in the first chapter we went through all the 6 days creation, and then God saw that everything was good, very good, and he rested on the 7th day. Are you with me? So this was not a recreation, an afterthought. If you were to make it, put in chronology, this particular experience would belong to somewhere around first chapter 26 through 27. So you can just take it. God didn't start on the 8th day to start thinking, oh, I have to make man in this way. No, or to create out of Adam's rib to create Eve. It was all happening within the first 6 days. Are you with me? And so the 6th day, God created man in his own image and likeness. And he formed man from the dust of the ground. He breathed the breath of life into man's nostril. And the man became a living being, a living soul, a living person. Is that what your Bible says? Amen. Madam Beth, let's go to, stay with me on King James Version today. New King James Version, because that's how I started this. That way I can stay with the trend. Do we get this? Say to your neighbor, I get it. Say to your neighbor, I am a spirit. I have a soul. And I dwell in a body. So this is what God did. But then God turned around and gave man a charge and say, we go back again and said, and God blessed him, say, multiply, be fruitful, multiply, replenish your earth, subdue it, and have dominion. And he put everything else except him on the sovereignty of man. Are you with me? And man went into action, to do the things God had told him to do. And as God was doing this, he also gave man a charge and said, I have put all things under you. Everything you see in this garden belongs to you. You can eat, you can enjoy yourself. But you see this tree in the center of the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Don't touch it. For in the day you touch it, you shall would you put Genesis 2:17? All right, let's read together. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for the day that you eat of it, you shall. All right, in the original language, that means you shall spiritually die. The surely is indicative of God withdrawing his breath his spirit, his pneuma. Somebody say pneuma. Now he leaves you also, with some essence, but not his spirit. He says, in the day that you partake of that, or you eat of it, you shall spiritually die, in a sense. And God would pull himself and separate himself. A man will begin to operate within his own judgment, within the soulish realm, and operate soul and body. We are three dimensions, all right? We are three of three. Someone say three of three. Amen. And when God pulled himself, what is left of you? No. When God pulled his spirit out of man, what was left? Two of three. Two of three. And by percentile calculation, 2 of 3 or 2/3 would mean 0.666, the number of man, and also the number of beast. Come on, somebody. So man became a beast like the devil. The devil stepped in and took over control. He ruled in the soulish realm, and I'm going to explain to you, because I want to believe that the end of this teaching and beyond this point, these are things I wasn't taught in Sunday school. These are things I wasn't taught in so many Bible schools I went to so many, and these are things that we need to know. It's going to help somebody. And I'm going to be like my wife, that I'm going to provide them, just going to talk. I'm going to give you some pictograms, some diagrams. So, is it diagrams? Yes, a diagram, pictograms. So you'll be able to conceptualize it. Are you with me? All right. So, man lost the Spirit of God. Man lived a whole lot more years than when God says, you shall surely die. And you and I know that when man sinned against God, what happened? He fell short of his glory. Romans 3:23. Is that right? All right. So the glory of God departed. Man became Ichabod, was no longer functional in the way God ordained for him to function. And he was disconnected, separated from God. The Spirit of God was emptied out of the living being in our soul and body. Are you with me? God pulled himself out. All right, give me the first diagram. I don't have my. Just give me the 3 circles. The 3 circles. All right, so this is how, and of course, it's not as concrete as this. The original man looked when God created him. Spirit, help me somebody, soul, and body. So when God took himself out of there, man was left. The spirit literally shrunk, became extinct. God pulled himself out, and man became soul and body. Are you with me? All right, so I want you to get a picture of what it is. And I'm going to show you other setups of the same patterns. So I am a spirit, I have a soul, and I dwell in a body. Say it again. Amen. The desire of God is for us to be so informed in respect to what God is doing, that when we hear a song, when we hear something percolating in our thoughts, in our mind, we'll be able to know where that is coming from. Because every expression that we give as the redeemed of the Lord and God. Hello, somebody? All right. A lot of songs we sing, they come from the soulish realm and not from the spirit realm. A lot of songs we sang this morning, awake, awake. I wish I was able to write it down, but those were very awesome, wonderful songs. They come from the heavens. They come from the glory. There are spiritual songs. There are soulish songs. There are bodily songs. And some are so, the harmony is incredible. They make us dance. They make us feel good. This new song that came out, "Come Jesus, come. We've been waiting too long." There's a line there that I'm like, I can't sing that. But I love the song. I love it so much. I love the essence of the song, "Come Jesus, come." So there are some songs that are written. Some of these songwriters go through depression. They are anchored in the soulish realm, and they write out of the experience. Come on, somebody. And everything is made to rhyme. And at the end of the day, you can literally shrink it to one or two things and not all of it. Okay? So we established that God created you as spirit, soul, and body. Are you with me? All right. So with that in mind, let's look at some scriptures. We looked at this before, but I want you to live, when you leave this place, you live really, really impacted in ways beyond your wildest imagination. This may well be the greatest message you've ever heard, and I would have ever preached. I'm serious. I am serious. Where am I going again? Okay, 1 Thessalonians 5:23. But I'm going to be calling out scriptures. I can't even find them as fast as you can. So if you see them, just put them up there. 1 Corinthians 5:23. 1 Corinthians 5. All right. 1 to go. Let's read together. "And may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit, soul, and body be preserved blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ." Is that your Bible? All right, so take note of, "And may your whole spirit, your whole soul, and your whole body be preserved blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ." Somebody say spirit, soul, and body. Amen. Amen. So you can see also this collaborates with the original intent of God as he created you, spirit, soul, and body. Your body came out of the dust, and when that person dies, it goes back to dust. But the spirit and soul are invisible essence of God. They return back to God. The soul awaits judgment based on and to the extent it is submitted to the will of God. We're going to get to that. So somebody says spirit, soul, and body. All right, go again to Hebrews 4:12. These are scriptures you know. These are scriptures you know. Hebrews 4:12. Let's read it together. 1 to go. "For the word of God is living and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the division of soul and spirit." Do you see that? Soul and spirit. And just go ahead. "And of the joints and marrows." So the joints and marrow represent what? Your body. Okay, good. "And it's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart." A discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. When you see heart, mostly it refers to your spirit. Are you with me? When you hear mind, it refers to your soul. Very good. So you can see what the Word of God does. Talk to me. You see what the Word of God does. It cuts through the soul and the spirit, literally trying to create and clarify and cause us to understand the separation, the difference from one to the other, and even the joints and the marrows, in other words, the body. So when the Word of God comes, it is calculated to bring clarity, understanding to the child of God that you are a spirit, you have a soul, and you dwell in a body. Somebody say amen. All right, go with me to Hebrews 12. Hebrews 12. I'm trying to lay out some fundamentals for us. If I'm blocking you, please let me know, because I'm going to, in a second, begin to show you. Hebrews 12. Did I say Hebrews? Did I say Romans 12, if you may, please? Romans 12. Romans 12, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's read together. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, just stop right there. Who is this talking to? When you hear brethren, you hear the what? What, in other words, the church are those who are the body of Christ. In other words, the body of Christ are those who are living. Okay, good. And travel more. The body of Christ, the church, those who are living, they are redeemed of the Lord. Is that right? In other words, your spirit has been reactivated. So me, brethren, represent those whose spirit have been redeemed or reactivated. Once I was dead, but now I live. Once I was blind, but now I can see. Is that right? So I emphasize it so you'll be able to see what's happening with the scripture. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, spiritually reactivated people, by the mercies of God, that you present a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. Are you with me? Go to the next verse, please. And do not be conformed to this world, but be. So we find the mind or the soul in this place. So within the context of the first verse, we see spiritually reactivated people who are redeemed of the Lord through the blood of Jesus. And in the same manner, we see also what is happening to our bodies. We should present our bodies as living sacrifice. And in the context of this, it calls us to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, that we may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Is that your Bible? So in other words, these first two verses represent an opportunity for us to address brethren, which is spiritually active people in God. Number two, people whose bodies are being presented to God. And number three, we would renew our minds or our spirits. So it deals with the three dimensions or the three areas of a human being: spirit, soul, and body. Somebody say amen. Somebody say amen. All right, so having said that, Jesus would encounter Nicodemus, a rich, great man who would come to him by way of night, at nighttime came to visit him. He had a challenging question. He has been bothered himself. And he said, Rabbi, I've been hearing you preach all these many years, and I keep listening to you. And you talk about this salvation. You talk about being born again. Does it mean I have to go back into my mother's womb? John 3:3. John chapter 3. What does it really mean? I'm glad you asked, Nicodemus. Is that right? All right. Are you enjoying this? Are you excited? Oh, this is going to set people free. It's going to just so change and transform your life. Verse 1, John 3. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. This man came to Jesus by night and said to him, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher come from God, for no one can do these signs that you do unless God is with him. Jesus answered and said to him, most assuredly I say to you, unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. In other words, except your spirit man is alive again in God, you cannot see the kingdom of God. And so this man was very concerned, and he began to ask. Nicodemus said to Jesus, how can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter a second time into his mother's womb and be born? And Jesus answered, most assuredly I say to you, unless one is born of the water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. Somebody say, born of the water and of the Spirit. Amen. Born of the water in reference to the Word of God, the presence of the Word of God, and the Holy Spirit incubating the Word to go from Logos. Logos is what is written, the written Word of God, to Rhema, the living Word of God, to become active in you. So by the reason of the Word of God and by the Holy Ghost coming upon you, you cannot be born again. For that which is born of the flesh is flesh. Somebody say flesh is flesh. And that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Are you with me? So in the unredeemed man who has lost contact with God, and the Spirit of God is no longer in operation in that man, his soul and body are called flesh. That's where you get carnal. Carnality, kana, K-A-N-A means flesh. Are you with me? Kana. So that's where you get carnal, flesh. And even if you're a Christian, you are ruled by your soul and by your body, and they are not growing, and they're not maturing, they're not evolving, they're not going through the process of metamorphosis spiritually to become renewed in your mind. That's why Paul would call the church in Corinth carnal Christians, because they are not showing the traits and the manner of people who have been redeemed and who are going through times of renewal. Present yourself as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable, which is your reasonable service, and let your mind be renewed. So Jesus is making the point clear that what is flesh is flesh. And so that means you can come to church, you were born in church, you can be in church for the rest of your life and do all the different rituals in the church, but if your mind is not being renewed and God is not taking over your soul or your mind, I can use those words interchangeably, and to the extent that the Spirit is not active, superior, and in control of that total body, the person will not be thinking by the Spirit, but will be thinking through their soulish realm. Are you with me? So people come and say to you, well, that doesn't make sense. To be born again, talk like, Nicodemus. How does it mean to born again? And the Christians telling you, I've been going to church all my life. I don't believe in that born again thing. You heard people say that? Why? Because their spirit man is non-existent or in a very diminished state, and then the abundance of their reasoning and imaginations and machinations are purely based on their soul and body. In a second, I'm going to show you some diagrams that will help us. So we see Jesus says, what is flesh, and what is spirit. Do not marvel that I say to you, you must be born again. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear the sound of it, but cannot tell where it comes from and where it goes. So is everyone who is born of the Spirit. Spiritual things are not designed by the soul or the body. Spiritual things are designed by revelation. Somebody say amen. All right, next picture that we have, or the next graph, as we try to look at this, the way, okay, so how many people do we have here? I see one. How many? Trinity. This is 3 in 1. And so I see one. The first one is the Okay, okay, just think in the context of this message. The first one is okay, the spirit. The spirit's always first. And then the second one is and then the last one is all right. But in essence, if we're to draw this, it would be the spirit of the man, you know, 1/3 of the size, and then you have the soul, and then you have the body. So it will be like a giant body, and in between you have the soul, and then you have the spirit. My desire for you and God's desire for you is that our spirit man will become so enlarged, so grown, that it will dwarf both the soul and the body. Somebody say amen. All right. You get a picture? All right. So let's see the next. What do you have next? All right. So this actually is clearer for you, I'm sure. You have the soul, you have the spirit, and the body. I saw this diagram somewhere, but what I would say is for the unregenerated man, that where the soul is will be where the spirit is. Actually shrunk and insist. Because when God left, you know, he most left his nature in us, but no longer active and in operation. And then you have the soul, then you have the body. The body is always the one that encompasses everything. The body is what we see physically, but the spirit and the soul are not visible. Let's look at the functions of this, you know, three entities that is one that is in you. I believe this is going to be very helpful to somebody. All right, so yeah, let's go. So we look at the body first. All right. All right, so can you all see? So she slides over there. That's good. All right. So if we're going to look at the body, camera, follow me, you know, and also make sure people can see this. If we're looking at the body is called what in Hebrew? Soma. That's some people, Somarachi, Soma, you know. All right. So Soma, body. It is the outermost man. And here are the functions. You see, you hear, you smell, you taste, and you touched. Are you with me? So those are the functions of the body. The body sees, hears, smells, tastes, and touch. We have some areas of metaphysics, or if you may, parapsychology, if you may, the psychics and so on. They go into the sixth sense and so on. That's not our area. We don't go there. And there are physical needs of the body. How many of you remember in your biology or your psychology or whatever, Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Are you with me? Okay, so, and so it's all here. We want food, we want oxygen, air, sex, the body, shelter, sleep, water, and clothing. So these are the functions of the body, yet made out of dust, and clothes us, clothes the inward man of the spirit. All right, the next thing you see is the soul. The soul is called psyche. That's where you get psychology from. Are you with me? Is a outer man. So in this, now, you know, I'm glad I was challenged by my wife. I said I have to put it down so people can take notes. All right, so you have fact, you have self. Somebody say self. And so that's where you have your personality, identity, your personality traits, your character, who you are, and how people can remember you. These are functions of the self, that you have emotions, your feelings, and your passions. You have your intellect, your mind, and your thoughts. This is what Harvard, MIT, Yale, University of Maryland, did I call it school? Tyson. Where else did I miss somebody? All right. That's what they work on to develop your mind and your thoughts. Then you have your will. This is the personal will. What Sigmund Freud would call the id, ego, and superego. In this case, the body will represent the id. I want now. And then this is the ego. And of course, the spirit is a superego in 3 dimensions. He was trying to recreate what the Word of God had already told us. The individual will, where our desires are made. Desires are pursued. And it's also within this will that we make our decisions. And this is where God also gave us free volition. The free volition means desire or ability to make decisions. To make decisions, your conscience, ability to ability to differentiate right from wrong. That's what your conscience is. Even those who don't know God, Romans chapter 1 talks about that even if they don't know God, but in their conscience they know Him. But instead of them to be thankful to Him, they have become ungrateful. And God has given them to a reprobate mind. You read that in your Bible? To begin to lust after inordinate things. Some express their inordinate desire for dead things, for animals, or for the same sex. It's all in the Bible. Are you with me? All right. So, but in our conscience, even before we know God, people say the higher power, and people fall into the ocean, they're drying, they cry, oh God, help me. They don't know God, but yet they cry out. And then in the soul is also the indwelling place of the sinful nature or evil spirits. So when one is oppressed, the argument, the debate goes on, are you oppressed or possessed? So this is where it belongs. Deliverance happens in this realm. Somebody say amen. Did you get the notes? All right. I saw somebody taking a picture, which I will say a good thing to do. The next one is your spirit man. It's called Pneuma. Pneuma or Ruach. And it is the inner man. We call it the inner man, or the inward man, or the spirit man. Come on, somebody say amen. So when God breathed into man, He breathed His spirit and gave you a soul. This is where we have spiritual discernment, to be able to know what is good and what is evil in the context of the Word of God and spiritual things. The soul has the ability to be able to tell good and bad. How many of you have or know of people who are they're purists? They're called purists. Are you familiar with purists? People who are they grind themselves literally not to do any harm to anybody. That is, they live out of that. It's a principle they have put themselves into, but yet Jesus is absent. Some of them are philanthropists. They could sell everything they have to give to the poor, to help but yet Jesus is not on the inside of them. Are you with me? So, but in this case, we're talking about the presence of God rather than the absence of the Spirit of God. Spiritual discernment. This is where the Word of God, hello somebody, this is where the Word of God comes. The Word of God is coming into you, will come by the Spirit. Come on, somebody say amen. Because, have you remember the scripture we quoted here earlier? Hebrews 4:12. For the Word of God is quick and sharper than any two-edged sword that pierces, dividing asunder of the soul and of the spirit, and discerns the intents, the joints, and the marrows. Are you with me? So this is where the Word of God comes. Each time God is going to speak to you, He will speak to you by the Spirit. John chapter 4, verse 24. God is spirit. Not a spirit. God is spirit. And they that worship Him, spirit and in truth. Are you with me? Spirit and in truth. So when God is going to visit you, He will come by the Spirit. He will not come to your soul. He will come and speak to you in respect to your spirit man. It is in your spirit man that you receive comfort, shalom. It is that peace that passes all understanding. That a man, his wife, would send him a telegram from Paris after his 3 daughters had drowned in the ocean, and he will say to him, sent to her husband in Chicago, all have perished except I. And the man would jump into the next available vessel and begin to head on, and the captain would come respectfully, pulled off his cap, his captain's hat, and say to him, I believe somewhere around this place was where the ship drowned and your three daughters drowned. And the man would quickly go into his cabin, steps up, and began to write a song that we all sing today. When peace like a river attended my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It's an instruction to the soul to line up with God. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 3, that God is the God of all comfort. Somebody say comfort. And with the comfort we are comforted, we may comfort others. So it is a spirit of comfort. It comes from the Spirit. When people lack the capacity to receive comfort of the Spirit, and they only depend on the encouragement and solace and comfort that they can receive based on my husband left me 2-3 million. That should last me a lifetime. He left me a nice mansion. I'll be okay. Are you with me? Oh, look at this children. When I grow old, they will be able to rise up and take care of it. So I shouldn't worry. The way the man snores at night, I'm not missing that. And all kinds of things will begin to come. And people come, oh, she will cry. Or it could be he, by the way. That is not the comfort that is spiritual. The comfort that will be able to mend your heart and turn that pain and that loss into opportunity and purpose and plan is the ones that comes by the Spirit. Oh, come on, talk to me, somebody. I say, talk to me, somebody. So it is from this realm, the spirit realm, that God will speak revelation to you. Deuteronomy 29:29, the secret things belong unto God, but the things he has released or he has revealed, someone say revelation, belong unto us that we may be able to instruct our children's children. So it was in this place that you receive revelation. A certain man had given up the church and said, listen, this is not like what God called me to do. And as he was studying and looking at scriptures in Leviticus chapter 10, I think it's 17. Don't go there. Don't worry about it. This is just a side. And and you are looking at scripture and you're hearing the voice of God coming from heaven. Thy fish shall not leave the door of the tabernacle, lest you die, for the anointing oil is upon your head. You hear it and you're reading it. And that changes you and sets you back in the plan of God. Some 34 years ago. That's He standing before you. Because that was a revelation from God. God will come to you through dreams and visions. Someone said dreams and visions. Amen. But also dreams and visions can be found in the soulish realm. You know those times you have these dreams that are nightmares, or will begin to hear somebody coming to violate you in your sleep? Come on, somebody. Or you see the devil will take the face of familiar somebody who has been good to you and who will come to attack you. And suddenly when you see the person in the natural, you're like, a step behind. It's like, something's, but you can't say it out. That's what the devil does. So dreams and visions are in the context of how God will speak to us. Are you with me? A revelation is what we are. What is revelation? God unveiling His word to you. And He will take what you read as logos, what is written, and He would make it rhema, a living substance. John 1, John chapter 1, verses 1, 2, 3, and 14. Verse 14 says, and the Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us. Now, that word flesh is not the same as carnality, it's physicality. Are you with me? Oh, hallelujah. All right, so revelations, dreams, and visions. Remember in Numbers 12, God will come and call Aaron and Miriam and say, come on here, come up on here with Moses. When they began to debate him and began to call him all kinds of names. And they said, in all the earth, there's no man as humble as Moses. Are you with me? Now, when you express humility within the soulish realm that is not informed by the Spirit, that is false humility. But when humility is of the Spirit, God sees it. That was why John the Baptist says, I shall diminish, that he shall increase. Are you learning something today? My desire for you and I is that when we pick up scriptures, we begin to read scriptures, we would know which dimension is being spoken of. Is it spirit? Is it soul? Is it the body? It's going to begin to bring clarity to us. Are you with me? I had from Kenneth Hagin yesterday. So I listened to I listened to audio teachings of great men. And he said something that really, kind of gingered me, if you may. And he says, for 40 years, I've never prayed, God bless me. Somebody say, God bless me. He says, I have never prayed, God bless me. What I have prayed every day of my life is, God, make me a blessing. Two different things. God, make me a blessing. Because in the economy of God and in human economy, it is, the Bible says, give and it shall be given unto you. Good measures. What comes back to you is always good measures. Pressed down, shaken together, running over shall men give unto your bosom. Are you with me? I'm looking for harvest. And so if I spend my life praying for Joshua or Nathan, because there's another person with a different initial, second, initials. If I spend my life praying for myself, I'm going to diminish. But if I spend my life praying for you, there's going to be a harvest coming. So God would speak to Aaron, Miriam, and Moses and say, come up here. This man is the humblest man on the face of the earth. And he says, and if there be a prophet in the land, I will speak to him through visions and dreams. So God speaks to us through visions and dreams. But he said, not so with my servant Moses. With him, he sees me face to face, or the similitude of God he sees. My desire for you as you begin to make those differences and begin to discern by the Spirit, as the Holy Spirit comes upon you, the Spirit of God within, that a regenerated child of God is one that has a spirit on the inside. And we have also received the baptism of the Holy Spirit that is upon. So we have the Spirit within and upon. As you begin to exercise your spirit man and begin to build it up in your most holy faith, the book of Jude says, praying in the Spirit and building up your holy faith. Are you with me? You begin to find out that your communion or communication or koinonia with God will begin to enhance you. It is in the spirit realm that you have communion or koinonia or communication with God. Come on, somebody say amen. The other thing that happens out of the realm of the spirit is that you begin to sense and feel this love of God. The love of God. Romans 5:5 says that the love of God has been shed abroad. Would you put it up for me, Beth? Romans 5:5. The love of God has been shed abroad. Okay. Oh yeah. Now hope does not disappoint, because the love of God has been poured out. I was quoting King James, this New King James. Poured out in our hearts. In other words, poured out in our spirit by the Holy Spirit who was given to us. So where does love come from? Where does God deposit his Hesed love? In your spirit man. So if your love is in an unregenerated mind or half regenerated, or in a soul that is not renewed, or mind that is not fully renewed, and that's a place of love. It's called philolove, Philadelphia, where we get our word Philadelphia. So brotherly love. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's not eros love. Eros love is within the context of marriage. Come on, somebody, young people. Amen. Talk to me, somebody. Say amen. That was a very, very loose and amen. So, Hesed love, we've taught on that here. That loving kindness, that tender mercy, that overwhelming presence of God within us comes from God. So this is the operation. And there's a whole lot more. I was playing this morning and I remembered Hesed love. I said, drop it in. And there's some more things that will come. Job would say, when men sleep at night, Job 33, when men sleep at night, God drops a vision and a dream in their hearts. Come on, somebody say amen. Now, let me also explain. It's not just vision for, for you to say, I see, I see, I see. I see crocodile turn into a man. I see my having mansions. But what I'm saying, it also includes when God would drop your heart, say, son, there's a place to invest. That's a business nobody is going to, that's a contract you need to apply for. God is speaking to you right now. How many of you are business people in this place? Amen. Yeah, I would raise my hand. Everyone should be a business person in this place. And God will begin to give you new ideas, new intention, new capacities, new abilities. Come on, somebody say amen. And you receive it, you put it into place. This is going to help somebody be able to understand applications of spiritual things to the rest of our being. The Bible says when a man's eye be single spiritually, all his body will be full of light. So what happens when the Bible calls us that your mind or your soul has to be renewed? When you get saved, it is spirit to spirit. Your spirit man is reactivated, comes alive in God. You begin to be led by the Spirit. Romans 8 rather. Now there is therefore now no condemnation. Talk to me. Romans 8, 1 through 3. Now there is therefore no condemnation to them who are in. I'm waiting, Beth. Romans. All right. Want to go. There is therefore now no to those who are in Christ Jesus, who do not walk according to the flesh, soul, and body, but according to the Spirit, pneuma. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has made me, we're singing of songs of freedom this morning, right? From the law of sin and death. Is somebody here? For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God did by sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh. On account of sin, he condemned sin in the flesh. Come on, somebody say amen. Woo! So go to verse 11 of that same scripture. We'll see how, in the context of who we are. All right, put me in the middle. Just move me to the center. Amen. But if the Spirit, the Holy Ghost, each time you see capital S, it's not speaking about the spirit of the man, it's speaking about the Spirit of God, the Holy Ghost, the third person in the Godhead. But if the Holy Spirit, or if the Spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, does it dwell in you? That means your spirit man is reactivated. He who raised Christ from the dead will also, next verse 12. Was that the whole verse 11? Go back to verse 11. Okay, yeah, that's good. Let's go back, flip back up. But But if the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through the spirit who dwells where? Amen. So the spirit comes upon me. I'm redeemed. I'm born again. My spirit man is alive. But he doesn't just stop there to remain as a pin spot. He wants to grow. And the more we spend time with the word of God, the more we pray in the spirit, the more we sing songs and make melody in the spirit unto God, the more we worship him. You're the center of my joy. The more we exalt him and praise him, our spirit man will begin to expand in capacity and in ability, tracking all of these natures of God in us. Come on, somebody say amen. And what happens is as the spirit man is growing in strength and in power, the mind will begin to be renewed. The mind or the soul will begin to go through a metamorphosis, the transformation. How? Through the word of God. And as the mind or the soul is gaining new capacity based on the spirit-led life, someone says spirit-led life, it will begin to subject the body. Come on, somebody. It will tell the body you can no longer think the way you think. You no longer influence me the way you used to influence me. I will no longer be thinking for you. That's what the soul will begin to say. The mind will begin to say. I will now begin to have Philippians 4:7, 8, and 9. Good thoughts. Begin to think on things that are true, things that are loving, things that edify, things of good report. Come on, somebody say amen. Those are things I'll begin to think on. And Colossians 3, Galatians 3, I'll begin to put off. Somebody say put off. Oh, come on, say put off. Put your hand in the air and say put off. Amen. It is intentional. You are putting off after the former man. And you are seeing your mind renewed by the word of God. Are you with me? And you're putting in the things that pertain to life. Oh, come on, somebody. I'm just burning in me here. That pertain to life and godliness. This is sequential. This is intentional. This is a process of the Spirit. Will begin to be changed from glory to glory. Woo! Now I was a sinner. Now I am saved. David will say, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his bread beg for bread. Ezekiel 36:27. The Shunammite, are you enjoying this? Praise God. She called me a couple Sundays ago and said, man, she didn't say man, she says, apostle, that message really hits me in a good place. I totally enjoy. I forgot to tell you because I had to hurry off. But she took time to call me. And how encouraging that is. That encourages my spirit. Are you with me? Well, that helps me some. And sometimes you guys withhold encouragement because, that will make him. No, when you bring encouragement, I can tell flattery ministers to the soulish realm. But when you bring intentional, authentic encouragement, it's of the Spirit. So don't be intimidated to say things of the Spirit. That's why when I say I love you, I'm presuming that you understand where I'm coming from. Of the Spirit. Are you with me? What I say you should go, Ezekiel 36:26. Amen. I'm going to let you guys go shortly. I'm telling you, I've been preaching this to myself. Are you enjoying this? This is that 36:26, Ezekiel 36:26. You know what this does? How many of you, let me say this to you as she goes there. I want to be kind. I'm trying to make myself exceptional. There are people that call preachers that preach to you, and you go wild. They go viral. They are incredible. YouTubers. You YouTubers. But many of them preach out of the soul. Ah, Jesus. Not by the Spirit. And that's why you see most of these new things, people will just begin to, package their message in rhymes and rhythm. And they punch it out as a nugget that it can be viral. That ain't by the Spirit. That's not by the Spirit. That's what Paul said, when I came to you, I came. Not by man's enticing wisdom, but by demonstration of the power of God. So we need spiritual fruit. We need spiritual food. So we'll be able to have the fruit of the Spirit. And so people sit under such a place, and most of the time you're talking about big crowd, mega, and all kinds of things are happening. And please, I'm not against, I love mega. When I start off, I want a mega. I still want mega. But I want it to be of the Spirit. So people can truly be saved, delivered, impacted for the right reason. And if we take a position in the Spirit. Okay, if you're not getting it, let's go to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 7. So when you see scriptures like this, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 7, if you have it, read it to me. Read it back to me. All right, so here. Go to 6, please. Go to 6 before 7. Go to 5, please. I don't want half statements. I like them to start from the beginning. Go back one more step. I want you to be with a capital letter so I know it's a trending thought. All right. But God, who is rich, your Father God is rich in mercy, Hesed mercy, because of His great Hesed, which He loved us. Somebody say, loved. All right. So please mark the sentences or the tense, if you may. Past, present. What's the next thing? Participle, right? Okay. Because when I'm preaching, I'm thinking of these English measures to make sure I line up. All right. So, His great love with which He loved us, even when we were dead in trespasses. That's when we were disconnected from Him. Our spirit man was no longer there. He took it back. We were dead in trespasses. Has made us alive. Come on, somebody. Alive together with Christ. By grace, you have been saved. And raised us up together. Hello, somebody. And made us, help me, somebody. Has made us sit together in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. Somebody say with me, I am sitting in heavenly places with Christ Jesus. So where are you sitting? Oh, come on, talk to me. Where are you sitting? Who is speaking now when you say you are seated in heavenly places? That's good. So next time I come and say, Brother Woji, how are you? All right, okay. If you don't want to say that, and I come to you and say, how are you doing? Dr. Babe, how you doing? How you doing? Blessed. Is that spiritual? There you go. You talk to that one who is out somewhere. Say, how you doing? I know Sabio. I'm managing life. This kind of country. Now, wow. Where's he speaking from? Oh my God. Are you getting something today? So, as a man thinketh in his spirit, so is he. So how do we have to start thinking? People who are seated in heavenly places. far above all principalities and powers, and wicked spirits in high places. That's why in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 17, Paul would say in earlier verses, says, after I've heard of your faith and your love, I cease not to pray for you, praying that this God of heaven shall open your eyes of understanding, that you may know the hope of your calling and the excellent greatness of his power towards us who believe, according to the work of his power, which he wrought in Christ when he raised us from the dead. Oh my God. Oh my God. So let's begin to get the right perspective and the right understanding of who we really are. The redeemed of the Lord. Let the redeemed of the Lord say, so. Amen. It's not when you're broke, oh, are you sure I'm redeemed? It's not when, man, what is going on? I'm not. No. The Spirit is constant. Happy birthday to me. No. Happy wedding anniversary to us. March the 10th. Isn't that wonderful? And normally we're very impromptu. It's like, what do we do? And she's like, I don't know. But I took the day off. But we don't know what to do. I said, okay, let's drive to Ocean City and just go on the boardwalk. And as we were driving, I had to turn off my heater. I had turned it into cold because it was very hot. Yeah? And when we got to the hotel, we asked them specifically to give us a room that's, 7th floor and looks over the water. And that room began to boil. We kept turning down the temperature until at that point I said, let me just go open the sliding door. I opened the sliding door. It was open all night and we're comfortable. We're hearing the thundering, the sound of the ocean. Oh my goodness, it was so beautiful. And that day we walked up and down the boardwalk. And by the time we're going, the water began to go down. No, it was also very nice. And so we drove home. The next day, it was winter. It was snow. That's called fair weather. Are you with me? It goes up and down. Can I connect with the message? We are not fair weather. It's like the weather cannot make up its mind what it want to do. Whether it wants to be hot or warm, cold or winter. It is soulish. Come on, somebody say amen. But the Lord says in Exodus 26 says, as whether winter or rain. What's that scripture again? I'm thinking about it. All right, so let me move on. What was the last scripture I said? Ezekiel 36, 26. Beth, hit me with that. Oh, my heart indicts a good matter. Psalm 45. My heart indicts a good matter as I write my composition to the King of Kings, who's made my lips to be the pen of a ready writer. Listen, worshipers, the worship team, Joshua and Caleb, mercy and goodness. Are you with me? You are on track. Because what I was hearing this morning, I wish I could have written it down, are songs of the Spirit. Are you with me? I say, you with me? And so I understand the idea of having to sit with your pastor to confer. Oh, that's what I'm going to preach on. But I pray that God will give you the heart that I have and clarity in the Spirit and revelation, the knowledge of Him to be able to understand where we're going. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. And I will take the heart of stone out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh, says the Lord. There is a transformation that's happening in you right now. You're no longer going to conflate or confuse matters of the spirit and of the soul and of the body. You'll be able to discern them by the word of God. As God speaks to you, you'll be able to have understanding. Oh, this is where this is coming from, and this is where it's hitting. That means when you hear, Judas had no understanding of the things of the Spirit. He, a preacher says Judas was looking for the will of God. He went, opened, Or so somebody was looking for the will of God, and and he didn't know what to think or what to say. He opened the scripture and he saw, and Judas committed suicide. He hung himself, and then he said, no, God forbid. No, God forbid. He turned another scripture. He said, go do likewise. No, we don't do, some of you may understand, tumbum. No, we don't do that. The things of God has to be clear to us so we can stand strong, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as we know our labor should not be in vain. Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to close. Romans 8. Go back to Romans 8, verse 16. Verse 16 and verse 26. If you have it, shout out to me. Maybe we can very soon get to it. Thank you, Ms. Bed. The Spirit Himself bears witness with our spirit. Can you see the capital S and the small s? The Spirit of God bears with the spirit man that we are the children of God. Where does the witness that you are a child of God born? In your spirit man. You didn't change. You didn't grow taller. You are still the same self. People that knew me back in the days, I was in Chicago for a homegoing celebration. And one little young girl, from Umeledi, and she saw me. I've been introduced properly, and I prayed, and and she saw me, and she was calling my nickname way back then. I'm like, I am Joshua Nathan, female pastor Nathan, apostle. So I'm going to call you your nickname. She was talking the old. Are you with me? And there's nothing bad. People, when I go to Nigeria, they call me Joe. They call me Mark Joe. So you now know my nickname. But that's not relevant to who I am today. The Spirit of God bears witness with our spirit that we're the children of God. Oh, I pray that you would allow the Spirit of God to tell you who you are. Your mirror does not tell you who you are. It is the Word of God, the mirror of the Word of God, that shows us who we are. David says, I am wonderfully made. How do you know that? By the Word of God, by revelation. Hallelujah. And so some of us, we look at people, quizzically and wonder, this guy is too arrogant. This guy is too overconfident. Why? Because they are speaking by the Spirit. I am the head and not the tail. Where do you get that from? The Spirit, the Word of God. I am standing strong and unmovable, abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as I know, my labor shall not be in vain. It doesn't matter what comes my way. Jesus is Lord. And I'm telling you, that's where our help is from. That's where our help is from. That's where help is from. When a mother loses her husband and her mom getting ready to go to bury her mom, and then tragedy hits her youngest son, a twin, passes away like that, and you could still stand because your encouragement and comfort is of the Spirit. People look at you. You're more radiant than ever before. God knows how to make it up for you. That in the midst of what is a huge loss, yet His comfort encapsulates you. And my prayer is that we will come to the point by which we're no longer being controlled by the soulish realm, the unrenewed soulish realm. So because what happens is that when we were dead in trespasses, the body had the most control in us. It tells us what we need to hear. I want this, I want that, I'm angry, I'm upset, I hate you, I can't forgive you. Those are expressions of the body. Speaks the soul. and we're carnal people, and we are reactive. But when God takes hold of your spirit man and tells you, love your neighbor as yourself, they hurt you, turn the other cheek. Come on, somebody. That's the language of the spirit. And you do it, and God says, don't worry. It may look very improper. It may look humanly wrong, but I will make it up for you. Oh, God. I'm praying that we have our people who are spiritually strong. Strong in the spirit. That whatever comes your way, you know in whom you trust. Father, I thank you and I bless you. Just begin to speak to him right now. Romans 8:26 says, likewise, the Spirit of God helps our weaknesses or infirmities to make such groanings that cannot be uttered. And he knows the mind of God shall pray through us. When you don't know what to say, in a songwriter say, oh, oh, oh. No, don't say, oh, oh, oh. When you don't know what to say, pray in tongues. Mariko sahakali barakadanda. Rondo reke. Am I hearing you pray with me? Brokodo zala marakade reko rabalabadondo. Makinda rabako le broko rabali brokodoshe. Rendo robonde rabakile brokodoshe kalabranda. Mandarabakuli breke shela marobondo. Marikade zoloborondoshe. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. When the spirit of heaviness wants to come upon you, begin to pray in the spirit. Begin to build up yourself in your most holy faith. Begin to worship God. When they send you bills that you cannot pay, instead of you rushing to your lawyer and say, we're going to sue them and that they have violated, begin to pray in the spirit. Woo! Pray in the spirit. And God will begin to direct you. He will unleash in you the fruit of the spirit. Love, patience, long-suffering. And he'll begin to release it in you. Your mind will begin to be yielded to the Spirit of God, to the Spirit control, to the mind of God that is in you. And you begin to change things, turn things around. Or when you're angry, you key into the Spirit. Or what will begin to come forth out of you. This is practical. We're not just teaching you something that is just over your head. This is how to operate. Because you are a spirit. You are a spirit. You have a soul. And you dwell in a body. And the controlling force in every Christian that is maturing is by the Spirit. Zechariah 4 says, it's not by might. Oh, talk to me, somebody. It's not by power, but by the Spirit of God. Be led by the Spirit of God. Because you are a spirit. Spirit to spirit. That's where deliverance comes from. And Lord, we thank you, we bless you. We give you all the glory and praise in Jesus' name. Somebody say amen. If you're blessed, put your hands together. Just give God a praise.
Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Hold me, you me, use me, renew me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Father, we bring this word that you've sent to us from the throne of grace this morning. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on us. We bring our pastor, whom you've used this morning. A lot has gone out from him. Refresh, 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 and make him whole. In Jesus' name, amen Offering time, offering time,
Blessing time.
offering time. If you're a tither, if you have your tithe this morning, tithers, if you have your tithe this morning, please bring your tithe, and pastor will receive your tithe, then we'll give offering. Amen. Hallelujah. Tithers of the living God, fall afresh on us. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Oh, hold me, use me, rule me, and renew. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. That's great.
Declaration over our giving and receiving. As we give to the Lord today, we are believing the Lord for jobs and better jobs, raises and bonuses, benefit sales and commissions, favorable settlements, estates and inheritance, great returns on investments, interest and income, rebates and returns, checks in the mail, money through online, gifts and surprises, favorable contracts and deal, finding money, debt paid off, expenses decrease, blessing and an increase. Thank you, Lord, for meeting all of my financial needs, that I may have more than enough to give into the kingdom of God and promote the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I will walk in the fullness of all that God has for me, my family and church. It shall be so in Jesus' name. Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Hallelujah.
You're standing here is an action of obedience. It is born of the Spirit. And what is born of the Spirit overcomes the world. I say it overcomes the world.
Amen.
So you are born of the Spirit. And I'm declaring that every obstacle, every mountain,
Jesus, in the name of Jesus,
every situation that seemed to inundate you
in the name
wrongly,
of Jesus,
that wants to rob you on the wrong place, that wants to bring shame against you, that wants to promote lack instead of abundance, we crush right now in the realm of the Spirit. And we say, Satan, take your hands away from this brethren, agapetos, the beloved of the Lord, right now.
in the name of Jesus.
And we release the blessings of the Lord that make rich and has no sorrows. Jobs and better jobs, contracts, money in the mail, divine opportunities, favor, the key of David in your hand. Right now, receive it in Jesus' name. Receive it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Receive it in Jesus' name.
Amen. Mold me, use me, mold me, renew me, Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Offering time, offering time.
Blessing
Hallelujah.
time.
Amen.
When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. 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 When you see me jump, I jump like a winner man. When you see me jump,
I jump like a winner man.
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 This kind God, another one no day. This kind God, another one no day. 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 This kind God, another one no day. This kind God, another one no day. 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 Another one no day.
Another one no day.
Another one no day.
Another one no day.
This kind God, another one no day.
You are awesome in this place, mighty God. You are awesome in this place this morning, receiving our offering and our tithes that have come to you. Father, bless each and every one of us. Meet us at the point of our needs. Father, anyone that is hurting at this time, we are using our sister Mary Jane, as a point of contact this morning. And other family members we know that are hurting. Father, comfort them. Comfort them. Holy Spirit, comfort them. Holy Spirit, be with them. Whisper to them peace on all sides. Our Heavenly Father in heaven, thank you for meeting us today, coming to where we are and speaking to us. May your name be glorified. In Jesus' name we have asked. Amen.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hi, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. So once I get onto the mic, it is now time for GC Family News. So welcome to GloryCenter Family Church, where we are cultivating an atmosphere of heaven. Amen? Amen. Amen. Let's get started. So as we all know by now, this is the year 2026, which is our season of the Lord's favor. And the verse that goes along with this year is Luke 4:18 through 19, which is, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim that captives will be released, that the blind will see, that the oppressed will be set free, and that the time of the Lord's favor has come." Amen. 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 Also, GloryCenter Family Church is invited to by Nigerian Assemblies of God's Fellowship to Church of Flame, which is a mega virtual service that is happening today, actually, from 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Amen. And the theme of this is reclaiming our Pentecostal heritage. Amen. So here is the Zoom link if you'd like to attend. Reverend Sam McJapet, I hope I said that right, is ministering. Amen. So you can dial by phone, and then also meeting in passcode link. ID is right over there as well. Amen. So make sure you come and attend because they've invited us. So hey, come and attend. Amen. Okay. My word addicts. Amen. 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 So if you're wondering what word addicts is, it's basically a program
where the church reads the entirety of the Bible in 1 year. Amen. So every day there's different chapters and verses that we read and meditate on. So to go along with Word Addicts, we have a couple of opportunities. We have a morning devotion at 6 a.m. on weekdays, and then kind of our big one, we have a Bible study all together, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, where we practically just discuss the Bible within each other and what we read that week. Amen. Also, we have Daily Wisdom with Pastor Efi, so make sure you subscribe to that one too. Amen. We also have the Command Post, which is a prayer clinic that is that happens every Thursday at 9 p.m. and is facilitated by our incredible Pastor Cordelia and hosted by our beloved Apostle Joshua and Dr. Pastor Efi Nathan. Amen. Amen. Birthdays. So we've kind of come across a couple birthdays this month, but let's just refresh if you forgot. Amen. So on the 4th, we had Reverend Etta. Amen. Amen. On the 6th, we had Minister Ruth Kabunji. She had a nice little surprise party. Amen. Then coming up, we have Elder Chioma on the 26th. Amen. Amen. And then on the 27th, we have Genesis Ije. Amen. So make sure for the upcoming birthdays that you just call them on these days and just be there with them in the spirit. Amen. Amen. And we have an anniversary coming up. Oh, actually, anniversary that already passed. Sorry. On March 10th of this week, I believe that was Tuesday, we had Apostle Joshua and Dr. Pastor Efi Nathan. Amen. Glory be to God. Glory be to God. That is so incredible. Okay. And coming up this week, actually, Friday to Saturday, March 20th to 21st, we have Roar 2026 Becoming Brighter, being transformed into God's image with ever-increasing glory. Amen. Amen. So save the date. Acts 2 Journey, we have a couple of changes to the event. So the first retreat is actually going to be, instead of March 27th to March 28th, it's going to be June 5th to June 6th. Amen. Retreat 2 is going to be September 18th to September 19th. Retreat 3 is going to be December 4th to December 5th. And then Retreat 4 is going to be April 2nd to April 3rd, 2027. Amen. So you have all this time to come and attend if you would like to. Amen. So the retreat is happening on a Friday and a Saturday. So Friday it's pastor and spouse, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then Saturday is full vision team, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Amen. And the location of it is Rockville Assembly of God Church. Amen. Amen. And ladies retreat is coming up soon, August 6th to August 8th. Amen. And then the theme for this year is overflowing fruitfulness. Amen. And it's just such an incredible retreat. I used to go when I was younger. It was very fulfilling. Amen. And we have so many incredible speakers and ministers. I see Pastor Joel Sweke, I see Pastor Apostle Oti, and I see a special someone up there. I don't, if you guys recognize her, Dr. Pastor Efi Nathan. Amen. Amen. So and then we also have a couple of registration. Registration started March 8th, and there's just a couple, just like different times. So early bird, then regular, then whatnot. Amen. The location of it is Sandy Coast Ministries, 60 Sandy Cove Road, Northeast Maryland. Amen. So if you'd like to register for the event, you can just scan that QR code right there on the screen. Amen. Okay. And Apostle Joshua, he has released 3 books so far: My Story for His Glory, a memoir from heart to mouth, and Uplifting Glory. Amen. And since he's just so kind and so generous, he is giving us a deal for $35 for the set of 3. Amen. So if you'd like to purchase this set deal or just any of his other books, he takes a couple different payment methods: Cash App, $, Josh Nathan Sr., Zelle, and then checks and cash are also accepted. Amen. Amen. Okay. And if you ever bring somebody and they're a first-time visitor of the church, they can scan this QR code. And if you become a member here for a while, or you bring somebody and they become a member here for a while, they can scan this QR code, or they can reach out to our Dr. Pastor Efi Nathan. Amen. And then that reaches the end of GC Family News. Thank you so much for listening to the announcements, and happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. To our online members, may God bless you and meet you at the point of your need and increase you and give you peace on all sides in Jesus' name. Amen. Bye-bye. Have a blessed week. See you next week.